today I figured maybe I can do a more advanced tutorial. Um, I'm gonna show how to calculate starting chain counts when it comes to designing your own filet crochet patterns. For this example, I'm gonna use 3 double crochets that make up your solid square. It can be 2, it can be 4, but for this example, for clarity's sake, I'm gonna use 3. Later on, I'll cover 2 and 4. So the first thing you're going to need to do is draw your pattern using a grid or graph, however you want to say that. I use graph paper. Count the number of squares that make up the width of row 1, for example 20. Multiply the number by 2 and add 1. 20 times 2 plus 1 would be 41. But that's not counting your turning chains. So let me put it up closer to the camera. To calculate your turning chains, you're going to add them before row 1. So this will be factored into the total you need. It depends on if your first square will be a solid or an open mesh. If you don't know, this will be solid. Even if you're looking at a pre-existing pattern, you can figure that out by seeing if it's represented by a solid square or if there's a little dot in the middle. If it's a dot, it's a mesh. If it's a square, it's a solid. So that would mean 3 double crochet stitches, in each chain. You're not going to be putting 3 double crochets into the same stitch, but you're going to be going down the chain. So when you see that in a pattern, that means you're going to do 1, 2, 3 double crochets down your row. And if it's a solid, chain 3, that will count as your first double crochet. If it's an open mesh, chain 4, because it's going to count as your first double crochet of the mesh, and chain 1. So it'll be chain 1, skip 1, that kind of thing. So that will all factor in to how to calculate how many chains you need. And for an example, I come prepared. So know me, I just want to teach the world about different kinds of crochet and what to do to be your own self. I'm bad at math, so I calculated this before I filmed this. I just made a simple heart as an example. So remember, we're going to need this row that's in blue. We're going to need how many squares are actually needed. So that is 14 for my little pattern I made. That means if we take 14 times 2 plus 1, that's going to be 29. And because it's an open mesh space for our first square that's needed, we're going to chain 4, meaning our total chains we need to start are 33. I hope I didn't skip over anything. I hope that helps. Enjoy creating your own patterns now. Now you can do it. All right, keep enjoying that journey.